What is up, guys? Fuck it. I thought I was gonna put this bike away for the winter, but you know what? Today decided to be pretty nice and warm, and I was just like, no way, man. I'm not gonna pass up this opportunity with free time and good weather. I also had something I wanted to talk about with this whole Uber X and taxi driver thing that's been happening in the city of Toronto and I guess the GTA pretty much. Just today, before I went out, I saw this article on CBC News of this taxi driver. Now, it's been pretty infamous. It's been happening for a while where taxi drivers have been protesting outside of City Hall where they block the streets and they just basically lean on the horn and do all this other stuff, and it's like, you know, whatever. It's a protest. And a lot of people have had qualms about that. And you know what? I think it's fair game in the sense that they are really frustrated. They've had a lot of their revenue taken away by this app. But at the same time, having personally used, what the fuck are you doing, by the way? Having personally used Uber and the taxis around the city, I just don't see how the taxi service will ever survive. It's such an uncompetitive business in comparison to the app form. Unless they evolve somehow, there's no way they'll ever compete. But that's not what I was going to actually argue on. What I was going to talk about more specifically was I saw the fuck. Everyone's deciding to be a total dickwad today. What I did see was this one guy who was close to City Hall, a taxi driver, who noticed that this one guy operating like a Honda Civic was allegedly, he was like an Uber driver or whatever, and the guy proceeded to pound his fists on this guy's window, and then the guy obviously got spooked and tried to get away, and he held on and got dragged like 20 meters down the street.
Look at the customer in the back. Look at the customer in the back. Look at the customer in the back. Yeah, there's a computer on the phone.
What the fuck is this guy thinking? Like, are you fucking serious? No one sympathizes with people who act like that. That is just a retard move. You can't represent taxi drivers and their protest for fair treatment and act like that. No one's going to take the movement seriously. In a movement that already a lot of people don't like taxi drivers. So you've just put yourself in a worse position. You look like a tool. Don't fucking do that shit. That guy is just out there trying to make his own kind of living. He should not have to put up with that kind of shit. I'm talking about the Uber driver. If I was the Uber driver's position, I don't think I would have let that guy do that. I would have got out and I would have kicked that fucking guy's ass. I would have beat the shit out of that fucking person. Because you know what? He has no fucking right. He has no fucking right to go ahead and just randomly decide that he gets to beat on my window like that. That he can somehow deduce that I'm a fucking Uber driver from the fact that I am driving someone around in my back seat. You know what? You have no fucking idea what the situation is there. Your assumption is not only idiotic, it's fucking ridiculous. I can't fucking believe people act like that. Especially when you call yourself a professional driver. Someone who's been in the industry for 22 years. That's what the guy claimed. Oh yeah, I've been a driver for 22 years. Well, you certainly developed a lot of respect, I'm sure, for other people on the road. Considering you're in the middle of the fucking street pounding on that guy's window. You're a fucking tool, sir. You're an absolute fucking idiot. Nobody should have to put up with people like you. There's no room for you in a place like Toronto. Nobody wants to fucking deal with shit like that. Honestly, man. Get the fuck out. You piss people off. And you know what? You have no business being a taxi driver anymore anyways. So if that industry dies as a result of actions like your fucking shit, so be it, because you acted like a fucking retard. Honestly, I get the whole taxi argument. You guys pays fees. You have overhead. And you know what? You've been paying into a system for years. And you definitely are owed something by the city on that. I get it. But you know what? Acting like that shit's fucking ridiculous. Can't fucking stand it. I think in a lot of these vlogs I've held back on what I want to say and my brutal, honest opinion on shit, but I cannot fucking stress enough how fucking furious I am at people acting like that. I feel privileged, actually, to not be in a situation like that. If I was that Uber driver, I don't think I'd be able to handle myself in such a way to just leave. You know what? I'm fully willing to accept that I'm wrong on this subject, that, you know what, I'm an asshole about it, but I'm past caring about it. This is how I feel on the issue. Like, fuck. You can't act like that in a public place, especially when you want to represent some kind of movement where you want people to sympathize with you. I get it. You're frustrated. You know what? That's fine. You want to be frustrated? Then show it in your protests and through legislation and words. But randomly fucking deciding on picking on one particular person who we can't even confirm has anything to do with the issue. And even if they do, they're doing nothing to facilitate what you are doing to them. They're not asking for that. They're not protesting against your protest. The guy's just working. Because you got to put yourself in the position of the other anonymous person that we don't know their side of the story at all, but how they feel. They're just sitting in their car trying to get their customer to some type of destination, and suddenly this man comes out in the middle of the street ranting and rambling and fucking starts pounding on your window completely unprovoked. You know what? I'm sorry for the negative attitude today. I don't want this to be a negative video.